Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the posts, giving you my own opinion, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. As a super quick further ado, Gamersubs is currently doing a Christmas gift with purchase sale, so that's going to be while supplies last, so if this interests you, you know where to go. Use code Oz at checkout. Thank you! Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for ruining Christmas for my kids growing up? This happened last year, but it was recently brought up again. My son is still kind of annoyed about it, so my daughter suggested I post here. I, 53 male, have never enjoyed Christmas. I never enjoyed the decorating or the shopping or any of that. My wife has always loved it. When we had kids, who I'll call Mark and Emily, 25 male and 23 female, I told my wife I didn't want to be involved in anything Christmas related or wanted anything overly done in the house. I admit sometimes I would complain the house was overly decorated and took things down, or wouldn't let them do certain things. My wife and I had more than one fight about it. My wife passed on 3 years ago now. Last year, I was with Mark and his now wife, who I'll call Amy. Amy really decked the whole house out. I made a comment that I thought was funny, that it looked like Christmas exploded in their house. Amy laughed and said she loved Christmas and enjoyed decorating for it. I told her that I thought that was a waste of time, honestly, and that the money spent on decorations could be spent on much better things. I asked Mark how he felt about that, considering we always put our money towards other things, and didn't do things like that. I expected him to laugh, but he didn't. Instead, he told me he would have loved to do things like this growing up, but I never let them. And even though my wife tried to do fun Christmas-related things with them, I almost always found a way to ruin it for them. He said he got it. I hated Christmas. That was my right. But it was awful that I tried to make them hate Christmas too. I said I never tried to make them hate Christmas, but he argued that I was a Scrooge, and anytime they did anything remotely fun or festive, I found a way to ruin it. My wife baked tons of cookies and treats. I didn't even let them have any. I just took them all to Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh my God. I didn't even let them have any. I just took them all to work. My wife wanted to take them ice skating. I made sure to find a reason they couldn't go. My wife wanted to take them to the Christmas parade our town had every year. I made sure to make plans on that day so they couldn't go. He said that he and Emily loved Christmas and really enjoyed now being able to do everything they wanted to do as kids, but I wouldn't let them. I felt really attacked at that point and said that if he was so miserable, why didn't they ever say anything? He pointed out he had, repeatedly, and that I just didn't care. I only cared about my view, and that I wasn't willing to allow them to celebrate because I didn't want to, and that I was selfish. I was pretty upset and told him I wouldn't talk to him until I got an apology for how rudely he spoke to me. He won't apologize, and our relationship has suffered because of it. I really don't think I did anything terrible here, but my daughter has agreed that I did make it hard to enjoy the holidays because of my attitude, and suggested I post here. Am I the asshole for not wanting to celebrate Christmas? This is the kind of man that Hallmark movie writers dream about writing as the Hallmark movie villain, to have some kind of crazy, I see the joy of Christmas now redemption arc, especially after his wife died and he's even more miserable about it. I want to believe that this is fake, but I've dealt with friends who have parents that were just like this growing up. I actually remember waking up one morning to go down to my friend's house and seeing the trash bins out with the Christmas tree, ornaments and lights and all, upside down in the bin. Turns out his dad had gotten into a fight with his mom, and in retaliation, he decided to throw away the tree. Throwing it away because it meant nothing to him, but was meaningful to her. It would do the most damage. Because then he was also able to pin the fact that Santa couldn't find the Christmas tree because mom made him angry. I also really do love the boomer mentality of when you speak back to your parents as an adult, their whole mentality of, you need to respect me and apologize. And when that backfires, they actually just do not know how to comprehend it. Like, your kids are adults now. They're allowed to talk back to you. What do you mean I made the holidays hell for you? That makes me feel bad. You should apologize to me right now. See, I think about that, and then I compare it to an event that happened a few years ago when my family was kind of doing a big get-together. And, you know, my dad, my uncle, and my two aunts, they were talking about how, you know, grandma was a little mean to them growing up, and, they had some fun memories about it, and they were laughing about it. Not abusive, just parents being strict. And my grandma started crying because she thought that they had abusive and bad memories about her and never wanted to be that kind of parent and was just in tears. And, her kids had to then explain that, no, it's just we remember being little shits as kids and just your inability to take our shit, and just that they had fond memories about that, not that it was some traumatic incident that ruined their perception of their mother. And I think about that reaction and the idea of, I never wanted you to see me this way, I'm sorry for doing this, compared to, you need to apologize to me right now for saying this about me. Which is actually exactly how my mom's side of the family is. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for joking with a girl I'm seeing that she should be more prudent with her parents' money? Hi, I've been seeing a girl for the past couple of weeks. I like her, and it's going well, and I could see us taking this to the next step. Last Sunday, I was at her place, and in the morning, she wanted to go to the supermarket to buy stuff. I had to do a grocery run myself too, so it was convenient and kind of nice to do it together. Before we had left, she was looking around her room for a wallet. I had pointed out that her purse was right there, but she said that one didn't have her dad's credit card. For context, she's 22, graduated this year, and has a good job. At the supermarket, she was putting stuff from the bakery section, just without looking at any prices, barely looking at the item even. Now, I know my own experience of having to grind without any handout may be coloring my opinion, and that's why I'm here. I joked that she should cut her parents some slack, and she had smiled back at the joke. When she bought 2 cereal boxes, I asked why she was getting 2, and said it depends on her mood, and again, since the mood was light, I just teased that don't bankrupt your parents all at once. She got a bit defensive and misinterpreted the joke, and said they're her parents, not mine, and that they won't go broke because she got cereal. I tried to clear the air that that's not what I meant, and she said it was okay. Since then, our communication has been a bit cold. I asked if everything was good. She said yeah. She couldn't see me this weekend, which is when I would have personally liked to clear the air again, so I'm just kind of overthinking this, I guess, and wanted to know if I was the asshole for my joke. Oh god, the horror items from the bakery and 2 boxes of cereal. Oh my god. I'm never going to financially recover from this. In all seriousness though, I don't have parents who actively will help me with my finances. If I need food, that's one thing, but if I want food, that's an entirely different ballgame. But that's how my parents are. I know people who, after they graduated, even with making good jobs, their parents still give them a credit card or some kind of card with a balance on it for their groceries, because they either grew up during hard times and managed to pull themselves up and never want their kids to experience hunger or food insecurity, so they give them that little bit of balance, and that's almost what this sounds like here. She grabbed it for grocery shopping. This wasn't going to the mall and buying luxury bags. This wasn't buying a car on it. I don't think you can do that on a credit card. She was going to the supermarket, going through the bakery section, getting 2 boxes of cereal. She specifically sought out that card before going to the market. Is she lucky to have parents that'll help her with her groceries at the age of 22? 100% so. Should you be hounding her for it? No. What are you doing? You're making jokes about her getting 2 boxes of cereal are gonna drive her parents into bankruptcy, and it's not even just the fact that you made the joke once, you kept making it. Like, it reeks of resentment, dude. Like, it's human to be jealous. Actually, this reminds me of that post a few weeks ago where the boyfriend had given his girlfriend an ultimatum that while she was in school, working a job, to then cut off her parents' financial support for her education, despite the fact that that would essentially make it so she couldn't get her degree, and that in order to continue the relationship, she needed to get some kind of entry-level job, despite the fact that she had a job on campus, in addition to her studies. I opted to check the comments real quick to see if there was anything juicy in there, and the GOAT, sadly the worst, is down here once more. Copied verbatim from Opie's comments. You're the asshole. You weren't joking. No one wants to be scolded by someone they've barely started seeing. She didn't misinterpret you, you were criticizing her, and she didn't want to put up with it. Good for her. Sure, maybe she shouldn't be spending her parents' money, but it's absolutely none of your business. And FYI, 2 boxes of cereal are not a crazy extravagance. Even when I was a very poor college student, I'd buy 2 boxes. OP responded, I wasn't trying to criticize her. It was really just a lighthearted comment which she had responded well to first about how she has a good job, graduated college, and was comfortable with using her parents' money for groceries. See, what you don't understand is I wasn't criticizing her. I was actually just... proceeds to criticize her. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for canceling my son's birthday over $10? I, 34-year-old female, have a son who's turning 13 this weekend. His birthday falls close to Xmas, and I'm not wealthy. We just get by. So, many years, he doesn't get a full party. This year felt like a big milestone becoming a teenager, so I wanted to make it special. We invited 10 kids and rented out some batting cages for 1.5 hours. I ordered a cake and planned a whole game in food and snacks. We live in an apartment, so I planned a scavenger hunt outside to keep them entertained after the batting cages and wanted the prize to be some hidden money. So on Monday, I pulled out $20 and got 4 $5 bills. Today is Thursday and his last day of school before break. They were having a party at school, and so I pulled a $5 bill out of my wallet and handed it to him and saw the other 3 5s. I work from home, so went to my room to go back to work. While in there, I heard his friend come inside for 5 minutes before they left together. A little after, they walk out to get more coffee, and I notice that both my purse and wallet are open, which is not like me. So I go and look and see. I only have 1 $5 bill in my purse. Immediately, I call my son, asking him if he took $10, which he denies. I say, well, if you didn't take it, then your friend must have. And he says no. I feel like I should add that I don't think his friend took the money. He's been in my house lots before and nothing has ever gone missing. My son was with me when I pulled out the money at the store and knew what I had and where it was. My son also has never stolen money, but does sneak extra snacks and cookies and lies a lot about little things, and his lying has been an issue for a while now. And sadly, I have caught his lying so much I don't believe him much. My son refuses to say what happened and how the money disappeared. They were the only 2 in the living room, and I 100% saw it when I handed him the $5. When he got home, we tried to talk about it, but he still says he didn't do it and neither did his friend. So I told him that his birthday was canceled, as I feel like he's lying, and I don't trust people in the apartment if he has no clue what happened to my money. A part of me feels like I'm overreacting over $10, but I feel like if my son did take it and I let him still have a party, I'm setting an example that he can just steal more next time. So am I the asshole? Alright, there are a lot of moving parts to this one, and I feel it actually has an opportunity to open up a pretty broad discussion here that might actually be interesting. So first, I want to look at some comments in the original thread. First comment is from The Rhine Moon Glow. You're the asshole. The truth is that you don't know that either kid took your money. Maybe you put it somewhere safe and forgot. Maybe it fell out of your wallet. Your brain fills in details all the time. You could be mistaken that you saw the money in your wallet. I'm a teacher. If I had one of your $5 every time a student swore they remembered turning a paper in, only to later find it in their backpack, I could retire right now. Human brains make mistakes. I get it. Money is tight. It's stressful. Don't make this $10 a formative memory that your son will be telling a therapist a decade from now. It's already hard having a December birthday. Please don't make it harder for him. User Trash Panda LJTAR responds, the amount of people saying to punish him for something with absolutely no evidence beyond I'm sure it was him. What if it was his friend, and he honestly doesn't know anything about it? Imagine threatening to take away all the nice things like birthdays and Christmases when this kid might genuinely have no idea what's going on. Is there a chance he did the wrong thing? Absolutely. But without proof, OP could simply damage her relationship with her child, especially in that preteen to teen phase. They make a lot of bad choices. Extreme punishment doesn't teach them to do anything more than get better at hiding their bad behavior. Punishment is reasonable and a tool that parents need to use sometimes. Boy, do I know that one. But without proof? Not for me. Another comment from Pretty Trash Panda. A lot of raccoons in the comment section. You're the asshole because, speaking as a mom here, you don't have proof of wrongdoing, so you're teaching your kid that there is no truth or trust between you. My mom accused me of stealing something when I was a kid. Turned out she made the mistake, and the item was found a year later. It's been 30 years, and I still bring it up if things get misplaced. As for the lying, look, as a mom of boys of a similar age, you have to pause and ask why your kid is lying to you. Mine lie if they think the punishment is worse than being honest with me. So, I had to do the work to change that dynamic, because it was on me to create the kind of relationship where they can be honest with me. They aren't perfect, by any stretch, but now they're pretty open with me about any subject. Regarding the snacks, have you been food insecure? Because his behavior around stealing food indicates he's either genuinely hungry or he's afraid of not having food. You can always put him in charge of his own snacks for the week. Now we get into OP's updates, which were a bit controversial because many people felt they were way too convenient for them to actually be the case. But even if they are the truth, there is a comment thread in r/AmITheDevil that I feel adds further information to this. Update. So for those saying that he's stealing snacks because he's hungry or that we're too poor and I can't feed him, I said we're not wealthy, not that we're poor. All of our bills are paid and my son does not go without. There's always food and snacks in the house and I do not control what he eats within reason. I don't let him eat junk food all day every day or drink soda every day like he and more kids his age wants. I brought it up more as a pattern of lies and things he won't admit to, even though there's literally no one else in the house who could have taken those things. I also mentioned how I gave him money for extra snacks at the school party, so there should be no reason he feels like he needs to take more. And for everyone saying he's never had a party and I'm taking away the only one, he's not had many big parties where he invites what I consider is a lot of kids. He always gets to celebrate his birthday, but in the past, due to the timing, we found it easier to do something special with 1 to 2 good friends versus something with a bunch of people, partly due to money, as throwing a big party can be expensive. And we have a very large family that goes crazy on Xmas, but also the fact that due to timing, we've found that many kids can't attend because it falls during Xmas break when people are out of town with families or have family in town. For everyone who says I don't have proof, you're right. That is part of the reason why I feel like an asshole, but there's something called circumstantial evidence, and people do get convicted on Ooh, oh boy, oh no. And people do get convicted on it all the time. Update 2. So, last update here. I sat my son down and tried to talk again, and if we could together figure out what happened. He mentioned how he went to the little corner store in the morning to buy better snacks for the party before school. I said I would go talk to the owner in the morning and see if he can get the receipt. It's a small store, and we often go there. I explained that I do feel bad for not believing him, and if I get this receipt and it says $5 or less, then I would assume he was in the wrong versus thinking the worst of him. I would apologize and take any consequences of my actions and jumping to conclusions. Well, this morning, when he heard me head towards the door, he came over bawling his eyes out and finally saying he took the money and spent it at the store. I tried to ask him why he took it, and he didn't even have an answer. I tried to ask why he didn't just ask for more money, and he said he thought I would say no. I told him he definitely owes his friend an apology because he almost made him take the fall, and that I'm happy he finally owned up, but next time he needs to right away and not once he knows he's caught. And that I loved him, even though he made a very big misjudgment. For those people who were trying to help versus judging, you're on a judgment subreddit. It's r/AmITheAsshole. The whole point is getting judged. Jesus. And mentioned therapy, I'm going to look into getting one for him and maybe for us together, as we clearly need to work on some things. Thanks all. Now in r/AmITheDevil, the post was titled as Canceling Son's Birthday Over an Assumption. Because, the thing is, the mother did cancel the son's party before there was ever confirmation of him actually taking the money. Someone commented, "It's really not an off-base assumption though, is it?" The person who posted the original post in r/AmITheDevil comments, "It was not something the son had history of or behavior doing. There were multiple other suspects plus the possibility OP herself just misplaced it. There is still no evidence, and OP has obtained a coercive confession by making threats to her son. We all know that torture doesn't get the truth. It's what the torturer wants to hear because the victim hopes for leniency over justice. OP describes guilt behavior that is inappropriate for a 13-year-old. which raises a whole lot of red flags to question about her honesty and or her parenting depending on how you interpret it. So yes, it was a huge assumption. The original commenter responds, multiple other suspects? Also, he did it. User Accurate Session responds, prove it! To which the commenter posts the link to one of the updates. You can downvote all you want, but it was really obvious, and then the kid admitted it. Stripe Badger, the person who cross-posted this, comments, the kid admitted to it after threat and punishment had occurred already. That's not a confession, that's coercion. Telling Mom the apology she wanted to hear regardless of the truth means he gets his party back. All of which is assuming OP is even being honest. A 13-year-old boy crying, much less bawling his eyes out because he felt guilty, is not normal for that age. It puts both her honesty and her actual capabilities as a parent into question, which I had already accounted for and pointed out in my first response. If only you could read. So I had to think about this for a little bit in the standpoint of me and how I would respond and react to this if I had a kid who did something like this. First of all, kids are going to make dumb decisions, they're going to make bad choices, and they're going to do dumb things all the time, like taking money. I used to steal quarters from my dad's change jar to buy sodas at the gas station, which I'm wondering if he ever got suspicious of me because there was a time where he went to go to a Coinstar and dumped the entire jar of coins in there, expecting there to be a couple $100s, and found out it was just dimes and pennies. I wonder why. And I just remember him being like, huh. I was expecting a lot more to be in there. But if I was in that position as a parent, I'm probably going to assume that if they did take money, they would lie about it. The question then would be, why did they feel they had to take the money? Was it because they feel they couldn't ask me for anything else? Was it because they felt that maybe it'd just be easier to ask for forgiveness, or I just might never find out? But I would want the punishment to fit the crime. I wouldn't cancel their birthday party, I'd probably have them pay me back. If it's the wintertime, go shovel driveways until you pay me back. Go mow lawns if it's summertime until you pay me back. Go do something. You're gonna be doing chores around the house until I deem the fact that you properly paid me back for stealing money. And on top of that, because the money the kid took was directly tied to his birthday party, I'd probably just let him know, hey, the event that I was planning on hosting with the money you took is no longer going to be able to happen. So I guess the question then boils down to, is OP the devil for taking away their son's party over $10? I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of different life philosophies in the comments here, and I'd be very curious to see them all, especially because I'm coming at this from an idealized perspective of what I would like to be as a parent. And, you know, that might heavily change once the rubber meets the road. Cross-posted from r/am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? I, 31 male, am offended by my girlfriend, 28 female, saying we had a really good time instead of a great time. Jesus fucking Christ. So, last night we went out with friends, and I honestly had a great time. On the way home, I told my girlfriend, I had a great time tonight. And she replied with, yeah, we had a really good time. This really took me back. For me, the night was great. But why would she say really good when I clearly said great? It just feels like she downgraded the experience for no reason. I met one of my friends, 30 male, for coffee today to catch up and talk about this, as I needed to pick someone's brain on this. And I told him about her reaction to our night out yesterday. He was also there. And he agrees it's kind of rude. He said wording matters, and that it's weird she wouldn't just say great back. This is also not the first thing. Recently we got into a small argument because she skipped dinner for one of my other friends' birthdays and only came for drinks later, saying she was busy with work. I feel like if you care, you make time, especially for a birthday dinner. Hold on, how old are you? 31? Dude, you're acting like you're still in high school. Oh my god! We've only been dating for 2 months, but with this all happening, it's making me reconsider. Yes, please do. Am I overreacting? Yes. Edit. It's not about controlling her wording, it's more about her downgrading our great time to just be really good. I confronted her about this, and she said that she felt that it was really good, but not necessarily great, and I'm surprised she feels that way. Oh my god. Edit 2. Clearly, you have all failed to understand my perspective. I don't care if she had a good time or a great time. I'm just offended that she sees that what I perceive as great is only good. We obviously have different expectations of things and value things differently. Maybe different tastes. So, I decided to look at OP's post history and found two things. One, he's a Holocaust denier, which is just absolutely fucking lovely. And where that comes from is this here, posted to r/Lebanon, not the city in Illinois, the actual country. There's a number in there, the 271,000. That number is oftentimes attributed to being part of Holocaust denialism as the actual number. So that's fucking gross. And then additionally, there was this gem posted to r/ChatGPT. Posted to r/ChatGPT Pro. I was getting ahead of myself there. Does ChatGPT know your IQ based off of your interactions? To which that OP responded, I got the 130 to 145 range. Not bad, a bit lower than what it is, but with all the doom scrolling, it's probably going down to double digits now. ChatGPT thinks my IQ is between 130 to 145. It's actually lower than what it actually is. Fucking stupid-ass humble brag, but he can't comprehend the difference between someone having a good time and a great time and thinks that everyone should have a universal experience, and he's deeply hurt by the fact that he had a great time and his girlfriend only had a very good time. When you typed 31, did you mean to type 13 out of curiosity? You're just actively looking for things to be upset about. Like, I'd say that you're making a mountain out of a molehill, but like, that metaphor doesn't even fully work here because you're more of making Everest out of a molehill. Like, dude, this is such a non-issue. Also, OP, cover your ears because this advice isn't for you because you're a Holocaust-denying piece of shit. As a quick heads up, everyone, if your partner says that they only had a very good time, but said that it wasn't a great time like you wanted, ask them why, and maybe you could learn some things to help make the next time a very great time. Not every activity that you two do together is going to be compatible, but what's important is that you learn from it, take notes, and make sure the next activity will be a great time for her, even if it's only a very good time for you. Crazy concept, I know. Cross-posted from r/relationships. My dad is ideal on paper, but I can't stand being around him. 36 male. My dad is kind, generous, supportive, and loving. On paper, he's exactly the kind of father some people say you're supposed to have. He always showed up, supported me financially and emotionally, and told me he loved me. He never insulted me or abused me in any way. And yet, since I was probably around 10 years old, I haven't been able to stand being around him. We have almost no relationship right now. I see him only on holidays or when my mom forces it. Being around him makes me deeply uncomfortable, and I've struggled for years to understand why, especially because I know how lucky I'm supposed to feel. The best way I can describe him is that his entire personality is built around being nice. He compliments everything to the point that his words have no meaning. If you cook dinner, it's amazing every single time. He gives no real feedback, no honesty, no substance. Conversations feel pointless, like nothing actually landed. He also desperately just wants to be funny and liked. He's constantly joking and embellishing stories, but he's just not funny. And the stories are often so exaggerated or filled with made-up details that I tune out entirely. Being around him feels infuriating and draining. At parties, he acts like a politician, circulating and trying to charm everyone, yet he never actually forms real friendships. Every friend he has is just the husband of one of my mom's friends. Here's the part that scares me. I see myself in him. I've struggled my entire life to truly connect with people. I struggle with friendships, dating, and feeling genuinely close to anyone, even though on paper I should be doing fine. I'm tall, educated, athletic, and in good shape. As a kid, I was made fun of a lot. I wasn't a total outcast, but I never felt like I belonged. I've been depressed for most of my life, and I honestly think a large part of it comes from the traits I learned from him. I've tried to change, but I still struggle in many of the same ways he does. What makes it worse is that he's completely unwilling to acknowledge his faults, even when they're painfully obvious. He lacks the emotional awareness to realize that people generally don't like him, and watching that play out is brutal because I recognize those same behaviors in myself. Seeing how people react to him feels like watching my own worst fears confirmed in real time. It makes me feel lonely and deeply depressed. Now, when we're together, it's awful. I'm mean to him and he responds by sulking, ignoring me, or playing the victim. He's not playing the victim here, dude. He's actually just the victim. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm mean to him and awful, and he responds by sulking and playing the victim. Oh my god. I'm laughing, but it's just out of just the sheer audacity of that sentence. He never stands up for himself or engages honestly. He's emotionally passive and conflict avoidant to the extreme. His niceness isn't kindness, it's fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of conflict, fear of asserting himself. And because of that, no one actually respects him or wants to be close to him. That sounds harsh, but it's true, and it drives me insane. He lacks self-control. If he offers to help and you say you'd rather he not, he does it anyway. If he asks whether you want his opinion and you say no, he gives it anyway. He cannot regulate himself when he wants to be involved. His need to insert himself overrides boundaries and common sense. This pattern extends beyond social behavior into his relationship with food and fitness. My entire life he's talked about getting in shape without ever following through. He's been 35 to 40 pounds overweight for the past 25 years. He avoids the gym or workout classes because he's self-conscious, and he also can't control his eating. He consistently overeats, goes back for seconds, snacks compulsively, and always has dessert. There's no moderation, just intention without action. My current solution has been avoidance. I keep my distance because being around him makes me feel miserable. Every interaction leaves me feeling worse about myself. I know this makes me sound like an asshole, and maybe I am one, but I work incredibly hard to become someone different from him. And being around him forces me to confront all the traits I hate in myself. Please don't tell me to go to therapy. I have. It hasn't helped with this. What I'm looking for is perspective on dealing with a complicated relationship with a parent who wasn't abusive, but still is damaging in subtle ways. How would you advise I deal with this? Therapy. Too long didn't read. My dad is kind and supportive on paper, but his lack of self-awareness, boundaries, and self-control makes being around him emotionally draining and infuriating. I see many of his traits in myself, and that's deeply unsettling, and feels like it undoes the progress I've made. Avoiding him feels like the only way I can protect my mental health, but it leaves me conflicted, resentful, and guilty. People know that therapy isn't just like a you show up and everything's magically better, right? It takes time and effort. You're not going to have all the solutions to life in one session. You have to talk and explore some of your issues. You have to actually sit down and think about them. You can't just rattle them off and expect your therapist to have some magical solutions for you. It takes time, self-reflection, self-healing, self-understanding, acceptance, and understanding that not everything will have a direct solution. Sometimes it just needs to be worked around for a while until you find it. Because right now, you're just projecting all of your insecurities onto your father. Your dad's just living his best life. Yeah, he might be a little goofy and awkward and might be a little overbearing with how he's trying to help you, but like, God forbid your dad actually tries to be a dad to you. Holy shit. Yeah, I berate him all the time. Then he starts sulking and playing the victim. I still can't get over that. Oh my God. You're 36. Grow up. It sounds like you've got a lot of self-image issues, and honestly, try therapy again. Because to me, it sounds like you didn't take it seriously. You do what a lot of guys do, where you think therapy is just for women. You show up, you just scoff at any advice the therapist gives, you don't engage directly, you refuse to have any introspection, and then you walk out being, see, I knew it was bullshit. Actually, fucking try. Oh my God. You've got a lot of heavy boxes in your closet. A lot of people do. And yes, it sucks. And sometimes you don't like being reminded you've got those heavy boxes in your closet. But you had an opportunity to empty the closet out and sort through them and figure them out. But instead, what you opted to do was open the closet door, try to lift a box with your pinky finger, and when that inevitably failed, you threw your hands in the air and went, see, it doesn't work. God damn, I feel angry on behalf of your father. Like, dude, come on. Yeah, my father may not be abusive, but he's just too fucking nice. God damn. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.